there's no casino out there that says, come on in, take a free shot at a 1 in 1,000. Why? Because you will lose your fucking ass if you're the casino. You're not bringing in any money.
Okay, I'm gonna... Okay. Shouldn't put something besides Jaren's up there. I don't know what I'm going to do. So, I'm gonna... Anybody interested in a stream right now? Or anybody got an idea to go through something? We could go through... where's Real Cygnus? Oh. We could go through... Not Real Cygnus. Critical Think. They're doing a kind of a streamathon to raise money for Critical Think. And this is a version of his debate with Flatzoid. Or Factatzoid, or whatever you want to call him. I'm going to leave it open for a few minutes here and see if anybody comes in. If anybody does, we'll watch it. I don't know if anybody really wants to do that, but we'll see what happens. I got to get a quick snack though, but I'll be right back. Okay, anybody still there? Anybody still there? I'm gonna watch this part of this.
Why are you guys in my living room again?
And welcome back to this U.S. Open office plan.
Miller just lobbed a message way over Jones's head using some
It's
technical
Craig
skills.
moderating.
Oh, and Jones brings the heat with a
Critical
polarized
think.
email. Advantage Jones.
Looks like both sides are going to need Grammarly to get through this rally.
Grammarly is an AI writing partner that helps you sound like the best version of yourself. And that's what
Okay, Critical Think was one of the ones that made it to Antarctica. Why is there so much static in my... To Antarctica. Why is there so much static? Oh. Okay, now I think I know what's going on. Okay, Critical Think is one of the guys who made it to Antarctica. He paid for it himself. So he is out $60,000. And this weekend, a guy named channel called DP Debunks is going to do a streamathon to try to raise money for him. And that's not... I'm the worst person in the world to do this. So I'm going to watch part of the debate and wait. This is just filling time. If anybody... Okay, we're in... I have a feeling a lot of people are busy tonight. Anybody hearing or seeing anything? So, no, that's not what I want. Not what. Where did I put it? Did I lose it? We're busy tonight. Okay, I messed everything up. I don't know why I'm doing this. No, not what I want.
Why are you guys in my living room again?
Now that I think about it, the sun, we're told, is a big gaseous ball burning in space in a vacuum. By the way, since we're on the subject of vacuum, fire, the element by which the sun exerts its energy, and I don't care if it's nuclear fission or what, it's still fire, needs what element, folks, in order to continue to burn?
Okay, fire, the sun doesn't use fire, it uses fusion, and is produced when two hydrogen atoms are combined. It does not need oxygen. I think this is GM truth. Not a completely unrelated one, but I think Craig thought it was funny at the time.
Oxygen.
And he's just moderating, so... a little heavy on the bass. way heavy on the base.
I was going
Yes,
to
go
say, if
Hello and welcome to another Flat Earth debate on FTFE. I am your host, Craig McNeil, and we are here once again.
Craig's house before the roof came off.
And thanks to the final experiment. Will Duffy literally just kind of chucked a hand grenade onto the world of the Flat Earth and just walked away as it exploded. It was fantastic. I unfortunately didn't get to go to Antarctica, which I was extremely jealous about. But tonight we have a debate between our friend Flatzoid from the channel Flatzoid's Perspective and the legendary Critical Think. Critical Think is a world-leading expert in weight variation experiments. He has done more experiments than anybody else on the planet in this topic. He is the only person that has done this experiment ever in Antarctica, and today he is here to talk to Flatzoid about this experiment because Flatzoid has a lot of issues with it. Let me get the guys up on screen so you can say hello.
Let that button pass.
Thank you guys for coming. Critical Think, hello, welcome to the channel.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely ecstatic. Yes, congratulations on all your achievements and everything you did in Antarctica. Now, obviously, Will Duffy funded, one of the Globers and Jaren and Austin, but you had to make your own way there, which meant that you funded yourself. So you have a fundraiser going to help cover those expenses. Would you like to tell anyone where they can get hold of that?
Certainly, yes. Well, my fundraising link is in most of my videos these days, and Craig has been kind enough to put it in the description of this video here. So yeah, I totally funded this myself. It's a huge expense, and I would really appreciate if people could help me out because I'm quite cash strapped at the moment.
Well, we do appreciate you doing what you've done, and if anyone has any spare money and feels like donating, feel free, link in the description. And if my mods could be kind enough to please every now and then spam the link to Critical Think's fundraiser in the chat. Obviously, talking on the other side today is Flatzoid. How are you doing, Flatzoid?
good. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
Have a discussion.
Yeah,
And I just want to say, if Craig gets 10 likes, he'll donate all his super chats to Critical Think tonight.
Wait, what? Shit, there's 42 already. What the hell? I enjoyed having you on the other day talking to Dave McKeegan. Pretty sure we went into some kind of alternate timeline because there was no shouting and stuff on my channel. It was very strange, but quite enjoyable. So hopefully the same can happen tonight. Hello to everyone over on Flatzoid's channel. I hope you are enjoying the show. Make sure you support your favourite creator over there, Flatzoid. And Flatzoid, I do want to say congratulations for absolutely smashing Nathan Oakley in the view counts. That's to be applauded. Anyone doing better than Nathan Oakley is a good thing, frankly. So good job. His channel seems to be the only one that's not grown because of this, but hey. Right, we're going to do 10-minute openers to go over your points and then into an open discussion. Do you have any preferences to who you'd like to go first?
No, Critical can go first, it's fine.
Right, Critical, over to you then, 10 minutes, and let's hear what you have about the experiments that you did and why you think they show that the Earth is rotating.
Okay, well, this is my first time debating, so I'll have to ask Flatzoid to go gentle with me, please. And I'm going to share.
Yep.
I hope this works.
I'm just doing this for a few people wondering,
Group
so they know what
planning,
Critical
so
Think's up to,
and feels like vacation.
and help with the fundraising, maybe.
Yep, that's perfect.
Right, so this I can start now. I gotta rush through this because I haven't got 10 minutes, and it's a long topic. But anyway, so I'm saying that the globe is confirmed because weight change measurements during the final experiment by the legendary Critical Think, which is me, they confirmed the globe and the reasons for that. So, whoops, yeah, there we go.
No, some
So
people
this
come in.
experiment is about taking real-world measurements, and it's to test the WGS-84 model gravity predictions. So we're not making up any correlation or anything. We're testing a prediction. So the causation is already established. So when something turns around, like rotation of the Earth, there's a centrifugal force. That's just normal. So that's just well-known science. That's a causation of a force, centrifugal force. There's also gravity, whether you believe it or not. There's gravity, that is another force, and a pair of scales measures it. So we go here. These are the formulas if the Earth were a perfectly rotating sphere. So these are the causation formulas. And because the Earth is a ellipsoid and not a perfect sphere, then we've got the gravity equations that come with the WGS-84 model. Now, I didn't make these up, but I am going to test them with my measurements. So before going to Antarctica, we did some predictions. You see, so Sydney 1055, etc., and Union Glacier 1380. This is even before I set foot in any of these places. And you've seen this graph before. So the red line is what the globe model, that equation predicts that this weight, that the mass should weigh. And then the green line that closely follows it is what I measured. So we have our model and we have our test for the model by going out and doing real world measurements.
I don't know that much to comment,
And
but we'll
then
just...
when I normalize the results, I get the prediction is the green line, and all the measurements points pop up on the green line. I also test what's called coefficient of determination, which is R squared, and this tells us exactly how well the model predicts the results. And for my trip to Antarctica, this calculation says the WGS model explains 100% of the variation. So there was a variation in weights, but the hypothesis explained this variation 100%. So Flatzoid has said that I failed very bad in understanding about what science is, but didn't really explain that. And it says the incompetence to not even calibrate his scale has invalidated anything he had done anyway. So my reply to that is the inability to understand the experiment invalidates any criticism of the experiment. So first you have to understand what you're talking about. Now, the flatty folly is you have to calibrate the scales every time. So this is a misunderstanding of the experiment. If we were to measure, we're not measuring an unknown mass. We always have our calibration weight. Now, if we were to calibrate the scale every time, it defeats the whole point of the experiment. You would just be proving that a 100 kilogram mass weighs 100 kilograms after calibration. And it would make the experiment similarly useless as taking a spirit level on a plane. So Flatzoid has also said that correlation is cannot imply causal relationship. And yes, that's correct. But in this case, correlation doesn't imply causation. It refers to the inability to legitimately deduce cause and effect relationship. Now, solely. So if you have nothing else, if you just have a correlation and nothing else, correlation...
Okay, I'll just say a couple things here. Because he's trying to measure the difference of the mass at different places, if he recalibrates the scale, he's just going to determine it's 100 grams no matter where he is on Earth. So he has to keep the scale to the same calibration. Plus, correlation does not mean causation. It means if two things happen at the same time, it doesn't mean that A equals B. But if you eliminate everything else, you can pretty much say A equals B. But Flatzoid's trying to say that critical think that since the mass has changed, that does not mean that the gravity is different at different places because the Earth is round. But because of the equations critical think has done, that's what it says is going to happen.
It does not employ causation. But I am not deducing the cause and effect relationship, right? It exists. Centrifugal force and gravity exists, and that is the cause and effect that I am testing. So causal analysis is the field of experimental design and statistics pertaining to establishing cause and effect. It involves correlation, right? Yes, we did correlation, the results correlate. The sequence in time, cause must occur before the proposed effect, got that. Plausible physical or informational theoretical mechanism, got that. We got a mechanism for the observed effect, and we eliminated the possibility of common special causes. So there is no competing hypothesis for this weight variation.
5 minutes
So
left.
we only have one. Right, so there I calibrated the scales once, measure many, and what would cause the weight to change so significantly? And by calculation and experiment, temperature, air pressure, humidity, buoyancy, and magnetism, these have been eliminated because these effects
Okay.
are small. And so Flatzoid did his experiment, and he has to tell, why is that 17.5 grams there already? Never mind. But so he got a zero. These scales are meant to weigh kilograms, and he's weighing something worth 20 grams. And he thinks after he's moved the scale a little bit that a 0.1 gram is somehow significant. But this is the question I got for Flatzoid. What does this D equals 0.1 G mean? And then this is from one of my scales. What does this E10D mean? So you should know these answers. And my other question is, what is the flat Earth explanation for this? Before travelling to Union Glacier, I predicted what the weight should be at various locations. Why were the actual weights measured to be with a few hundredths of a gram of these predictions? Okay, we can leave it at that. I've got to unshare somehow.
I can stop sharing for you, that's fine.
70 square inches of non-stick grilling. What a steal.
Okay.
We've got 3 minutes 20 left.
Right. I am pretty much done with that presentation. I must have rushed through it.
Okay,
But,
awesome. Right, I'll stop your time there. Thank you very much for that. Critical Think, guys, once again, you can find the information for Critical Think's GoFundMe to help cover the costs of him going to Antarctica, which he funded himself, both in the description and now, as my amazing mods will be posting it in the chat. Thank you very much for that. Flatzoid, over to you for your 10-minute introduction as to why you disagree with everything that Critical Think has done. 10 minutes starting when you start speaking.
Cool. Actually, I don't need 10 minutes, but to say thank you, Critical Think, for coming and making my point and literally refuting your own argument in your own opening statements. You started off with saying you have correlation, not causation, so that already makes it not scientific, because scientific method strictly is about the causation for the effect observed. You didn't observe an effect, you made a correlation-based faux pas when saying I don't need to calibrate it. The whole reason you say you don't need to calibrate it is because it will give a different result. It will give the same result. So therefore, the scale is going to give a different result. Just by moving it alone changes the scale's weight. Yes, temperature does change it. Was it cold in Antarctica? Yes, it definitely was, so it would change it. If you say minuscule, but remember you are not controlling any of your variables, so therefore it cannot anyway be a controlled valuable experiment. Also, I would love you to actually provide us with an actual scientific hypothesis so we can go through it, because you don't really have an actual IV and DV for your presumed cause that you are claiming to be correlated. Secondly, you are saying to me that because I have a graph, therefore science. No, graphs don't make science. Graphs are just based on data that come after experimentation. You didn't make an experiment, and mine was not an experiment. It was a demonstration to show you that you didn't understand how load scales work. And yes,
Well, you get data from experiments. That's what Critical Think. He did the experiment, he got the data. So he's got the data on the graph. Most of it's pretty basic to understand, but the flat earthers think they're going to argue their way into a flat Earth from a round Earth.
Mine works on grams because I use it for paint mixing, which has to be very accurate within 0.01 grams. The E is just to denote to the 10 grams, so if it gives E to 10, then you have a very fine scale. So you have a very fine scale indeed, sir. Would be great if you actually calibrated it like you would, because that means it's very sensitive to movement as well. Remember, you placed it onto an airplane with a lot of turbulence. That load cell did move out of place, and it would give a contemporary of a change in the scale. And yeah, I just think you don't understand the main basics between correlation and causation, and you don't understand that if you are using science, you have to have strict guidelines and you have to have actual control variables that you couldn't keep to. So that would be incompetency. So yeah, that's my opening statement.
Okay, well, you still had 7 minutes and 45 left. I guess I'll stop that there, and we can just go into a back and forth. Guys, we'll let them go for...
Craig's a lot more relaxed when he's not in the debating, and it's probably a little bit more pleasant of a situation. But don't let him hear that.
As long as they're comfortable with back and forth. I have a hard stop by midnight because, you know, I'm a massive nerd. And on Fridays, you can catch me over on Top Hats Off, doing my Star Trek roleplay where I play Commander Terrence Shelby, Chief Engineer of the USS Lexington. We have only 4 episodes left of this campaigne, and so far I've only destroyed 1 solar system and then somehow got promoted. So catch that tonight at 1 AM on the Top Hats Off channel. But yeah, after the back and forth, we will read questions to the guys. Obviously, super chats take priority, but if you tag me or DM me on Discord or something, I will try and read those out as well. Right, guys, I hopefully won't need to get involved in moderating. You both seem to be reasonable people. I know I'm calling Flatzoid reasonable. What the hell's going on? But yeah, like I said, I've got a hard stop at midnight, but you guys can go for as long as you like up until that point. I know it's very, very early there for Critical Think, and it's starting to get late for you there, Keith. So, you know, over to you guys, and just have fun.
Okay, I got a question. So, Flatzoid said there was no independent variable. What makes you think that?
Well, let's first set up your hypothesis. What is your hypothesis?
I've shown my hypothesis again today, and it's on every video, that centrifugal force and gravity will cause a change in weight because the gravity and centrifugal force will vary over various parts of the globe that we can predict. So that's the hypothesis.
So how did you vary centrifugal force?
Go to a different location.
Location isn't centrifugal force.
That's how I varied it, because it is different at different locations.
That's again correlation, not causation. That's my whole point. You are claiming that centrifugal force, which you're trying to prove, by the way, centrifugal force. Correct?
I am verifying the WGS-84 model.
WGS-84 model is an ellipsoidal model that's got nothing to do with centrifugal force. Now, I'm asking you...
That's not correct.
That is correct. It's an ellipsoidal model.
No.
The WGS-84
it's not correct.
is simply the WGS-84 is simply an ellipsoidal model that they use for surveying. You can later on expound on that to say you can make correlation.
Okay, I'm not a master of surveying models, so I don't know what this model is, but the thing is when you got a spinning object like this, it'll come out like this. So the Earth looks like a little squashed in the middle, and so it's a little further away near the equator than it is near the poles. So at the equator there would be a little less gravity than at the equator, and that's what Critical Think measured, is that if at the poles it should weigh a little bit more than it does at the equator, and he measured that and found that.
Yes, with centrifugal force based on that, but you still haven't even shown the WGS-84 to be a proper model in the first place, because surveying measures the Earth flat anyway. But my point is, you claiming centrifugal force is the cause for the effect. Is that correct?
No, that's not the sole cause. It's the gravity variation because of the ellipsoid shape of the Earth. And you are not correct about the WGS-84 model. It does take into account centrifugal force, because that formula is for the net gravity, which is the gravity minus centrifugal. So that's so you are incorrect about WGS-84 model.
Where does the WGS84 model come from?
There's a bunch of smart people, much smarter than you or I, have come. I test the model, right? I say, well, okay, these smart guys have come up with a WGS84 model. I want to check if it's true or not. Let me see. Oh, this WGS84 model predicts this. Well, I know I can go out and measure these weights and I can determine for myself, does this WGS84 model accurately predict what should happen? And lo and behold, it does. It does, down to the few hundredths of a gram. So,
yeah, but did you calibrate the scales?
Yes, of course I did. I calibrated them once, measured many, and you talked about flying on the aeroplane disturbing the scales. That's a great in theory, but you've never tested it, and I have. I've flown all over the place with those scales, and when I come back home, the scales, lo and behold, they measure exactly at the point of calibration the exact same weight. So flying everywhere does not disturb the scales.
You know what a load cell is in the scale?
Who cares?
I care because you're using a load scale, so you should know what a load scale does. Do you know how a load scale works?
Yes, it's got a torsion measurement in it, but who cares?
I care because you are claiming science, so therefore it's under very strict guidelines. As soon as you move a scale, it takes the calibration out.
No, it does not. I told you. I told you, right? I flew with these scales to various locations, including Antarctica, come back again home, and the calibration was still intact.
How often do you calibrate your scales?
Oh, this one I haven't calibrated for 6 months.
You know, I calibrate my scale every 2 months.
That's okay. That's because
you know why?
Flat's always some kind of painter, like a car painter. So that's why he has scales to measure out the pigments.
Hey, that's okay. That's because the way you use your scale, right? The way I'm using the scale, first of all, I've got a very, very good scale, and it keeps its calibration. Now, I used to calibrate every trip, but I wanted to see how long I can go without calibrating the scale, and I test the calibration by weighing my test mass at the location that I calibrated it, and it holds calibration.
Okay, according to Arion scales, anytime that a scale is moved, most scale manufacturers will suggest that the unit be recalibrated. Weighing readings fluctuating, there may be best times that you place an item scale performing the weight. Yes, moving a calibrated scale can take it out of calibration. The scale is calibrated to a specific location.
Aha!
And moving it can damage the load cell or throw it off its calibration. So, did you calibrate it in that location at Antarctica?
I think I explained already that would invalidate the experiment. That would be stupid.
Not an experiment, and this is my whole point. So, in other words, you literally taking false correlations and claiming it to be scientific because you're incompetent to be able to scale, to go and calibrate the scale. And I want to ask you another thing. Would a 100 gram, let's say you take a kilogram scale and you calibrate it where you were, okay? Should that weight be physically heavier at the poles?
I don't know what you mean by physically heavier. What does that mean?
You said centrifugal force, so it would change its physical weight.
So something weighs, right? It's physically one mass all the time. So when the force acting on it, like centrifugal and gravity, makes the weight different. So when I take a measurement with a scale, that is a physical measurement, and the measurement will measure different, yes.
Huh. So the physical weight changes. Did you test this by calibrating the scale again to make sure that this is true?
If I calibrate the scale again, the weight won't change. It will still be 1,000 grams. So why would I do that? That's not the point of the experiment.
So in other words, it is a, how can I put it, a rigged, not experiment.
I don't know how you make that conclusion. So let me just say this. Flatzoid goes and calibrates his scale at home. Then he goes to Antarctica and he calibrates his scale
There they are.
again. Flatzoid has proved that 100 grams mass weighs 100 grams mass after calibration. So great experiment there, Flatzoid.
This is, yeah, so in other words, no weight change. Critical. No weight change.
Say that again.
So in other words, no weight change then. So the weight
Well,
change.
you've
is not-
invalidated-
so in other
you've
words-
invalidated
No, you've
the weight
invalidated
change.
your own
I
argument.
think
So in
Craig's
other
about
words,
to
it's
explode.
not the actual weight change. It is correlation based on the movement of the scale, which takes it out
But-
of its calibration.
So why can you tell me, why do you need to calibrate a scale when you move to a different location?
I told you, because it takes it.
Tell
out
me.
of total, because it.
No. What is the physical reason? What are the factors that would determine that your scale would weigh differently?
Temperature, movement,
Okay.
if it's out of balance.
I may give this a few more minutes.
So let's say I don't calibrate my scale like I did.
There's
and I go
something
to
cool that
Antarctica
happened
and it
last
weighs
night. Probably a lot better.
1,003.80 grams. It's a 3.8 grams difference. What do you say makes that difference? 3.8 grams.
Could have been the weather. It's very cold.
Okay. Have you got any experiments or proof or calculation or anything at all that would lead you to make this conclusion? Any experiments, measurements, calculations?
I did a demonstration a few years ago where I took a bottle on a scale and I heated it up and the weight changed.
How much did it change by?
A few grams.
I want to see that experiment.
It's not an experiment. What I'm saying, you don't understand what an experiment is. The point is, are you even in your opening, you literally said temperature changes the weight, correct?
That's great. Can I ask you a question then to do with that?
No,
If
no.
I'm-
Sorry,
based on
Craig's
this, you're in Antarctica,
trying to
was
stay
it cold
neutral.
in Antarctica?
Yes.
It's kind of like asking
So
the
what
U.S.
What
to
would
be
you
neutral.
expect
With the
the
weight-
temperature
with the
to
weight
do
change.
to the weight?
So
What
with
would
the
you
weight
expect? How much weight would you expect with that temperature, and in which direction?
What was the temperature?
Inside the tent, it was, I don't know, I didn't measure it, would be about
Oops.
20 degrees.
In
20
competence-
degrees.
Yeah. So in other words, doesn't science have a very rigorous thing? You have to have a controlled environment. Was your environment controlled?
Yes. Yes,
you just
it
told me you
was.
don't know that. You just told me you don't know the temperature.
No, I don't, but I tell you this, right? I've done experiments before where I measured the temperature each time. I've verified that the temperature has little effect, right? So there's no point in taking measurements of the temperature. It doesn't change anything. I've done that experiment. I've done that control. I've done it all. I don't need to do it again.
So temperature changes
I
it,
once-
yet you just ignore it. That is called
Okay, let me ask you.
Okay, we basically get what Critical Think did, and I think something a little bit more interesting. Well, I find it more interesting. Another channel, the Drunk Debunk Show. I don't think he was drunk during watching this, but him and another guy named Reddit. I can't pronounce that right now. Went out and saw the transit of the moon Titan across Saturn. Just 1 second here. Had to put my chair up. This took them about 5 hours. I tried watching it, but it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when I finally fell asleep, and it was going to be until about 5:30 in the morning. So we'll speed it up a bit. Because for the first little while, there's not much. You may have to. So, somebody showed up for a second there. So,
I understand what it's like to be hungry. I understand what it's like.
mute them. So you can see it. Okay, I don't think you can see. It's just coming across here. Titan's one of the larger moons in the solar system, and this way we could actually speed things up. I think I can see it near the top, but this is only about an hour in, so that was his cursor. I can see it right there, a little shadow. I don't know if that's coming across in the OBS or not. This was done just outside the city of Lowell in Massachusetts. Too many things coming up here. Oh, that's what happened to them. I knew they were powering batteries off of Mike's car, or Drunk to Bug Show's, or TDS's car, but I didn't know they ran out of power. Earlier I saw the end. They got a little surprise, or what they were going for at the end, but yeah, I can see the dot near the top left. So sorry for all this. Yeah, you can see it a little further along there. But I'm guessing the Drunk to Bunk and Reds and Toon and Craig and everybody's getting ready for the debunk thing, their little segments and Unfornicated and all of them. So I figured to put something here, maybe somebody would drop by. But it's not a rocket launch, and there won't be another rocket launch for a while. And I didn't want to do this on Sunday because they'd be all busy on... I didn't want to take it the way of their audience on Sunday, so I'll do it tonight. And then I can go edit What's It videos. I don't know what... What's It should be banned from physics textbooks. Okay, and we're gonna just skip ahead here. One of their little songs. I don't want to use up all their footage, and Reds is going to do a stacking of it. Here's it after it. But here they get the International Space Station for a second. This is at 5:30 in the morning. So, okay. Oh wow, that's really clear. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna... I know I shouldn't call it quits, but I'll call it quits. Maybe something... maybe another time we'll have... Who are you talking about, Marxist? Oh. Keep an eye out, my... Oh, so you're a troll. Okay, what did I say that was brain dead, Marxist? Or I'm assuming that's who you're talking about. Is it because I believe the space station's true, or Saturn's real, or... Okay, I was about to close it down before you said anything, but just waiting for your response now. I have taken pictures of things in space myself, so. You want to get into a little fight? Okay. Oh. I gotta open up a window. Just give me a second here. I'll show you some things. Do. Oh, I know. I shouldn't be fighting with trolls. Or did I... Where's my picture directory? Can I find the Bert Gaffney stuff? You're Bert Gaffney. Well, that should do it. No, these ones aren't work. They won't work in here. Okay. Okay, are you guys probably taken off by now? Okay. We're gonna take a look at some old images, I guess. Okay, because a long time ago I was an astronomy student. Here's some of the pictures I've taken. Like, some people say there's no... You can't see galaxies. And I need to open up a new window. Such as this one. Good old M51. I may not sound the smartest at times, but I know what I am talking about. How do you know we're not on a bowl, Marxist troll? Or Marxist trash. Oh, did he disappear? Or did Lindsay disappear? That's the funny thing, is once they realize that you know something, they probably can't fight you. But, okay. That's M51. Not the greatest image of it, but the thing is to get... Well, okay, I'm going to go into a little bit of an explanation here. when they see a lot of CGI, or what they call CGI, it's enhancing this. One way of doing it is taking a bunch of these images and putting them together and making a composite image. And I don't know if my computer will do this, and I don't know if I'm able to do it. So I'm going to try something here, which I wasn't expecting to do tonight, but see if I can get GIMP running and displaying. Because I've gotten more recent pictures. I didn't take these directly, I took them through Twitter. And this will show how badly I know how to use GIMP. Because this is an image of M57. I think it's the Ring Nebula. Just gonna see if what happens if I just do a direct invert. If I can find it, colors, that's where it'd be. No, don't want to do that. Okay. So I was probably demonstrating how little I know how to use this. There, you can kind of see the ring in that. That's, which color is that in? I can't read it, but that's part of the Ring Nebula. Let's see. Oh. Sorry for the detour, everybody. Or anybody who's still around. But okay. Let's see if I can. I'd have to. The best way to do is probably start all over again. Discard changes. Okay. Okay. Sorry for being so distracted. I'm going to see if I can. It's actually a fairly easy process. I don't have practice in doing it. Okay, that was red. And then and blue. You can actually see the ring through all the layers. Now, what do I have to do next? Compose. And of course, they're all out of order. green. Green. And blue. And I'm probably messing everything up and everybody's laughing at me. Okay, it's not great, but I gotta learn how to do. I gotta get that practiced. Okay, now that everybody's had their little laugh at me trying to do photo imaging, I hope I'll shut it down, and hopefully everybody will have a good night and have a good one, or wherever you are. Okay, goodbye. I was probably so close. Stop streaming.